Hi, welcome to Introduction to Class Dojo and Remind. I am Jessica. I'm a curriculum coordinator here at ICOE.
Hi everybody, I'm Priscilla Johnson and I'm a curriculum coordinator at Imperial County Office of Education.
So before we get started with this training, we have a bit.ly address over here in the top right-hand corner. If you can just go to that bit.ly address, you just type it into your address bar, and it will open up a copy of the slide presentation for you so that you can follow along. And then after the training is over, you can click through the slides at your convenience if there's anything you'd like to see again. The structure for this training is that we will start off with an overview of Class Dojo. Then we will proceed with an overview of Remind. And then we will be linking videos. This is going to be a little bit different structure. We are re-recording our original training. So instead of breakout rooms, we will be linking videos to trainings that we have done on the actual setup of each of these apps. So you can choose which one you'd like to view.
I'm going to go ahead and get us started with an overview of Class Dojo. I have used both Remind and Class Dojo. They're both wonderful apps to allow for communication with families, but I'm going to start us off with Class Dojo. So Class Dojo is a great communication app with so many features in one place. It is 100% free for all users. There are 3 different accounts that you can link with Class Dojo. You can have the teacher account, the student account, and the parent account, and again, they're all free. It allows you to connect with families in different ways. You can also use it as a behavior management tool to encourage positive behavior in the classroom. And through the student account, there's a student portfolio that allows students to share work that they are proud of. So one way to stay connected with families through Class Dojo is to use the class story. It allows you to share pictures of really anything that you would like everybody to get at one time, anchor charts, photos on field trips, whatever it is, again, that you want everybody to see, and you post it to your class story, and families can interact with that message, give it a thumbs up, give it a heart, and just, build that sense of a community within the classroom. It also allows for one-on-one messaging. Please note that it is not an SMS message that parents will receive. They will have to download the app to communicate with you through messaging, but you can communicate one-on-one privately with parents to keep them updated on what's happening in the classroom with their child. It does allow you to set quiet hours to let families know when you're unavailable. They can still message you during your quiet hours, but they will receive a generated message that says Mrs. Johnson is on quiet hours and she may not respond. One of my favorite perks is that you can see when a parent has read your message. It will give a check mark with a timestamp. This is only a one-way tool. You can see when parents read your message. They cannot see when you read their message because sometimes you may need a little bit more time. And you can also download the message history to share with admin if you needed to. Through the student account, you can create student portfolios, and they can upload work that they want to share with you or with their family. Know that the work does have to be approved from the teacher before it actually posts to the student account, so they cannot just post whatever they want. And this is a great way to allow teachers and families to comment on student work to keep students motivated. There is also a school story. So if your entire school is using Class Dojo, there is an administrator profile that can be created, and the administrator can post anything that's going on campus-wide, and all parents who have that Class Dojo account will have access to the class story and be able to interact with those messages from the administrator. Class Dojo does allow for translations. It translates messages in over 35 languages. You can type your message in one language and have it translated and send it as a translated message, Also, parents can receive the message and they can translate it into whatever message they would like. And that goes two ways. If you receive a message and you need to translate it on your end, you can also do that. So a great way to just keep that communication going. Class Dojo can be used as a behavior management system. It is intended to foster positive behavior for students. So you assign points based on student behaviors that you want demonstrated. This is a great connection to PBIS if your school is using that. And parents can see what their student is getting positive points for. There is an option to include points for needs work, and those would kind of be those negative points that students can receive. But again, note that the intention of this is to really foster positive student behaviors. It does allow for instant feedback, so parents instantly are aware when their child receives that positive point or the needs work point, if that's what you are using. And then again, just that PBIS connection with schools. One really neat feature of Class Dojo is it does have this toolkit, and it gives you 8 tools in one place. There's the timer, the random name generator, a group maker, a noise meter. You can post directions, walk through the think, pair, share strategy, give class announcements, and use music. On the next slide, I'm going to cover just a few of them that I really found useful in the classroom. So the random group generator is very neat. You do, through Class Dojo, have to input all of your student names or upload a class roster so that it has access to all of your student names. And in that random group generator, I would open the app, say I need to make groups of 5, and it would randomly assign students to a group. So that was really neat. Also, the random student selector, it's very similar to using popsicle sticks in the classroom to draw a name. You just open your app, select this tool, and a name will generate at random. And then the classroom music, it's a great app to just have music playing in the background, whether students are working quietly or in small groups and you just want some music playing. That's a great option. On this slide, it is a live link. If you click on the picture, it will take you directly to the website that gives you, this part of the website that gives you more information about each of these tools. There is an SEL component to this. I always used the growth mindset videos and class discussions, but it's small, short videos, classroom discussions, and activities that are ready to go and use with students immediately. Again, they're just short, brief activities for you to do. My students would watch the video. I would use the questions given to me by Dojo to facilitate classroom discussions, and then use those follow-up activities. And the students were normally very engaged in these activities. Just a little bit more about Dojo. There is an app available for download. When you sign up, parents will originally receive that SMS text letting them know that they need to create an account. And once they've created their account, it will prompt them to download the app, because you do need the app to communicate back and forth. Parents and students can send the teacher messages, so students can do that through the student portfolio. And then I've already discussed quiet hours, which is a great feature. I mentioned this earlier, the teacher does need to upload the class roster to the site. It generates an individual code for each student, and that allows the connection to the behavior management tool and the student portfolio. So that's the purpose of having to upload each individual student name and entering a phone number or email address for each parent. And one additional feature for students that's really nice is it does create a Class Dojo avatar for students, and they can go in and update their avatar and change the color and the facial features of the avatar. And it's just one more way to get students engaged in this tool. This is the website, classdojo.com. It is pretty intuitive. You can't break this website, so I highly encourage you to check it out, create your account. And as Jessica mentioned at the beginning of our training, there is an additional video that you can watch and walks you through step-by-step how to create your Class Dojo account. And that is it for Dojo. I'm gonna pass it on over to Jessica for the overview of Remind.
All right, let's learn about what the difference is between Class Dojo and Remind. What does Remind have to offer us? So as we look at the Remind app, it's similar to Class Dojo in that you have real-time messaging. You can message an entire class, you can message just a group of people, or you can message just a single person. A nice thing about Remind is that you can schedule those reminders ahead of time. So if on Monday you want to take out a little bit of your time and schedule all homework reminders for the entire week so that you don't have to go in every day to do that, you can. That's a capability. Another feature of Remind is that you can send messages from your laptop, from a mobile app, or from a tablet. So you're able to access Remind for sending messages both on your laptop as at the website, the remind.com website, or you can do it on an app. So the messages can be sent to any phone, and this is something that is important for those families who don't have smartphones. If they're using like a flip phone or a government phone, they can still receive Remind text messages. So the messages can be sent, when you send them out, they can be received as either an SMS message, a text message, or they can be received through the app. The messages can also be translated into more than 85 languages. So you type in the message and then there's a translate button and it'll translate it for you. So you have that capability of translating messages before the messages go out. And if the participant is using the app, they can also translate the messages when they receive them. So this is a practice account that I have. If you want to try it out, I still have it active. So you can type in this number here, 81010, and then you can send the message at ICOE 92243. This is the message that goes into that text. And then it'll let you know that you have joined my class, just so that you can see what that looks like as a text. So how does Remind work? You can see who has joined your class in real time. I have the app on my phone, so as you add that class, I will get a notification that you've joined my class. And then you can send a class announcement to start a conversation. You can also, a very cool feature that is similar to Class Dojo, is you can see a delivery summary of who's received your message. So you can actually go in, click on the message that you sent, and then it'll show you 100% of people received it, 100% of people read it. It will also tell you if some people had issues with opening the message. And that helps us with communicating with families and making sure that they have the correct ad code, or maybe they changed their phone number and they need to be re-added to the class. So Remind is free. There are free features, and those include basic messaging. That includes the translation service. There are also apps that can be integrated into your messages, and I'll talk about that in a bit. And then you are allowed 10 classes per account. So you as a teacher, you're allowed to have 10 classes at any time. And then you're allowed up to 150 participants per class. So that would be students and parents together. You're allowed 150 people to be in a class. There is a Remind plan that you see on the right-hand side. That is more if your school district or school site actually wanted to upgrade a plan for everybody to use. But for a teacher signing up individually, the free account is what is available. So going into those features, there's some more features to go over with you. Just like Class Dojo calls them quiet hours. In Remind, we have office hours, and that lets the parents know and students when they can get a hold of you and expect a response from you. You will still get the messages if it's outside of your office hours that you have set. However, the person sending the message will get a notification that you may not respond. So it's up to you whether or not you respond outside of office hours, but know that you still receive those messages. You can also send an announcement to the entire class, or as I said earlier, you can send it just to an individual student or parent, or even to a smaller group of students. And if you feel the need to, you can turn off replies at any time. There is the capability for two-way conversation through the through Remind, but you can turn that off if you feel the need. As I said earlier, this is to give you sort of a screen view of what this looks like through the app. This is how you would schedule those announcements. You can also see that this person has included a picture with their message, and we'll talk about that in a second. This is what it looks like to translate. So down when you type in the message, if you're doing this on your phone through the app, you get these options of the languages that you can translate the message to. Do remember that if the parent or the student is using the app, you can send out the message in English and they can choose to translate the message. That capability, though, again, is only through the app. So the app integrations. This is where we can bring in our Google Classroom assignments. We can send out a document from our Google Drive. We can send a photo. So these are all capable of being added to a message if you choose to. And it's just on the app itself, it's down here in this little, beneath the where you type the message. And it's pretty much the same if you use the Remind website. Again, attachments can be added like pictures, PDFs, you can even do voice clips. So if you, now that we're doing distance learning, it's hard to get handouts to parents and students. Instead, you can send it through the Remind app. Oops. Like Class Dojo, Remind also has the option of exporting the message history. So again, if need be, for whatever reason, if you'd like to export some messages, a message history that you have with an entire class or with an individual participant in your Remind class, then you are able to do that. That is going to be online, so you'll have to go to remind.com to export those messages. Next, with an individual account, I pointed out that you can create 10 classes with up to 150 participants in each class. Those are active classes. You can have 10 active classes. So at the end of the school year, what I would do is I would archive a class, and that would free up another class for me. So you'll notice over here on the right-hand side down at the bottom, it says remove from class list. That means that you're archiving that class and it no longer appears. Do note that you do have the opportunity to reinstate that class. So if you archive it and you decide, no, I still want to use that same class, you have that capability. Before I move on, you also have the ability to change the class name at any time. You can put in an icon. They have some preset icons that you can choose from. You can change that at any time. And then the class code, they automatically generate a class code for you. However, you can create your own class code, a customized class code. So some frequently asked questions is if you can add another teacher to be part of your Remind class. If you want to have 2 teachers who are in charge of posting on that class and responding to messages for whatever reason, there is that capability. Again, reiterate that if parents don't have smartphones or students don't have smartphones, they can still receive your reminds as a text message. And if a student or parent doesn't have a phone at all, then they would just need to log into remind.com to their account and they can still access your messages. Or they can get the messages via email too. I have left you here with the Help Center. This is, as I was learning Remind, this is where I went with all of my questions. I used Remind for about 6 years in the classroom, and this Help Center was very, very helpful. So as we compare Remind and Class Dojo, Priscilla and I have pointed out that there are quite a few things that are very similar. They're great for connecting with parents individually or as a group. You'll notice when you go in and you actually experience either of these apps that your personal information is not shown, neither are your participants. So it's very private. You can schedule messages with both platforms. You do have your office hours or quiet hours, as they're known with Class Dojo. There's two-way messaging capabilities, message translators. You can add attachments to both. You can see the rest there. I think what I want to point out with Remind is one of the differences between Remind and Class Dojo is that you as the teacher in Remind, you do not need to upload your class roster. All you have to do is provide your students with the class code, and they add it on their own. So there's no individual work on your side besides providing students with the correct class code. Also, you can multi-select classes to send messages to, which is nice for those of us, especially in secondary, where we might have multiple periods of algebra, and we want to send a message to all of our algebra classes. You can do that and not have to go through individually. Priscilla, would you like to talk about the what makes Class Dojo unique?
Yes. So what separates Class Dojo from Remind is that it does have that behavior management tool that allows you to assign either positive and or negative points for student behaviors, and you can personalize those behaviors to be specific to what you want in your class or what your entire school is looking for. It does have those monster avatars that allow students to interact and update to include them in this community. It provides those lessons, the growth mindset, social and emotional learning. It has the videos, the discussion questions, and activities for students to complete. And again, you do have to have those individual invitations per student because it links it to the student portfolio and the behavior management tool.
Awesome. I think that concludes our training. Do remember that if you would like a walkthrough of how to set up an account and how to navigate the website for Remind, and then Priscilla gives us a walkthrough of Class Dojo, those videos will be linked separately. So I hope you check those out, and I hope you appreciate or enjoy one of these apps. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to Priscilla or I. We're here to help you too. And our emails are back on that very first screen. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.